join me here at a fan-favorite track in Formula Apex at the Hermanos Rodriguez circuit in Mexico. And here, considering how many long straights there are on this track, you'll really be able to hear the ferocity and anger and the raw emotion in these V10 supercars. And just in time as well, because we have only 3 races to go in this championship battle. Well, not necessarily a driver's championship, because that was already closed out back in Hockenheim by the McLaren of Spinala. But rather, considering McLaren's lack of a consistent wingman, they are now under serious threat of losing the Constructors title to Minardi. If I can bring up the standings real quick, I think I have it saved in this ebbing tool. No, that's Briatore staring at something. If I look at the team standings, Minardi is very close to McLaren, with them being only 23 points off with 3 races to go. So if Minardi have a particularly solid finish, they will be Constructors champions. However, it's a little bit too early to tell if the patterns we saw beforehand are going to repeat themselves again. Oh, and there's already been a bit of a collision in the prep laps as D-Gaming in the Jaguar hits the wall. Fortunately, he hasn't damaged his car. He's very lucky to have gotten out of that, but still, that doesn't exactly bode best for the new kid on the block. Hold on, I'm gonna real quick get a drink because I feel like my throat is clogged. So, one moment. Much better. And I presume everyone's still on their out laps. I mean, no, now they're doing their proper laps. Okay. Okay, looking at the first laps people are doing, Supreme GA Monkey for the McLaren team is actually looking to have a pretty good initial time, and that's seeming like it's going to bode well for the leaderboards when he finishes his flying lap. But Mushy Cookie sets a really solid time at the beginning. We were expecting him to cook, and Supreme Gaming Monkey takes it by such a tiny margin for the McLaren team. That right there bodes really nicely for the McLaren team. Like, I'm fairly certain Spinala's not even in this race. Can someone correct me? Is this Spinala's wingman? So yeah, that Constructors battle is looking ever the brighter for the McLaren team. I don't think anyone was expecting that, especially after the beating they took in the previous race. Hell and I, for the Benetton team, also set a pretty good time. He's consistently been the underdog of the front runners. Never quite able to bring himself into a lead, but still has been very close multiple times over. And then a little bit down on the standings, Aaron, for the Toyota team, actually sets a pretty good time for a team that haven't been able to find that much pace in general. However, I think Aaron might actually be on... Nah, that's an outlap. So yeah, some very solid times being set across the board, but currently, all eyes are on the McLaren of Supreme GA Monkey. What a shock that's been. But now Mushy Cookie is going in to make another attempt to try and dethrone Supreme Gaming Monkey. But I think he might have cut a track limit on the first sector. That, or this might have been an outlap the whole time. Maybe they're doing the league racing thing where after the first lap they immediately jump so they can get the next lap done on the freshest possible tires. No, that first sector was a purple one. So, like, do you guys... Okay, now it's definitely an outlap. Now it's definitely an outlap. But yeah, flicking back through the order, Hellenai had a decent first sector, although it did end up coming up as a yellow. And we'll be curious to see if he can convert that into something significant, as those two sectors there, maybe I'm unfamiliar with the general pace of league drivers, but, yeah, that was a green sector. That middle sector was really solid from the Benetton. If he can get a solid finisher, which is seeming like it's going to be the case, then he may be able to elevate himself up just a little bit. Maybe not in terms of positions, but definitely in terms of time. Let's see if Hellenai can bring himself further up. Is it going to be a personal best for him? Yes, it is! By about 3/10 as well. But flicking through the rest of the leaderboard, there's not many other fast times being set. Supreme GA Monkey almost improves on his fastest time, but unfortunately cuts a track limit in the middle of his lap. He does still have the fastest time on the board, so unless Mushy Cookie improves, which he's seeming to have gotten close a couple times, then he should still be safe. Mushy Cookie's taking some very, very tight lines here. He doesn't want to leave any room for time game after Supreme's really impressive early time. Mushy Cookie going on the limit of pretty much all of the track, but it's 2 yellow sectors, so I don't think he's going to be able to improve on this unless his final sector is a sector of the gods. And it's seeming like he took it a little bit wide, so I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure if this is going to be an improvement from Mushy Cookie, but I guess we'll have to wait and see when he's across the line. Yeah, I had a feeling that wasn't going to be it. And Supreme actually does improve his lap time now to what is essentially the time he would have got beforehand if it wasn't invalidated. Supreme is on an absolute roll. Wait, flicking for the rest of the drivers, System Failure has made the move to Minardi. I'm pretty... wait, no, was he always in Minardi? No, I got him mixed up with Raikkonen in 77. Never mind. Ignore what I just said. But that being said, he's about to set a fast lap. Where's he going to be on the board for a crucial lap for the Minardi team? 6th place. It's okay, but it's definitely not what the main team in the Constructors battle would be looking for, considering that's currently their best result. Although those were all greens. Although maybe that's because he already set a time, I think. There's also another new driver for the Benetton team, Verstappening. It's very difficult to tell the kind of time he's getting because I can't actually see a reflection of it in the lap time. So where he's going to be on the board is going to be a bit of a mystery, but I'm going to take a random guess. I'm going to say 5th. Nope, I guess that was an outlap. Never mind then. Never mind. Okay, there's actually been a bit of an overtake on the leaderboard as Aaron for the Toyota team actually overtake the Sauber of Rayon Pro. So, honestly, very good showing from the Toyota team considering they haven't really been anywhere when it comes to the constructor standings. System Failure now going back to set another lap, hopefully to try and make himself jump up a little bit further in the qualifying standings, considering not much has really been set in stone. Verstappening is also going to set his first proper lap outside of what is certainly an outlap. Huh? Wait! Hold on! Someone hears us out of a different car. I can't uncheck that. I have been flicking through every single one here. I can't hear that. Has it already been dealt with? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's already been dealt with, but one of the stewards are definitely going to have to look at that. Okay, Aaron here sets 2 green sectors. The Toyota driver is looking to be on course to set a flying lap. Maybe even enough to overtake the Benetton of Hellenai. There's a crash of a Renault in front. Oh, and he bottles it in the final sector. If that's not commentator's curse, I don't know what is. Still, he may be able to improve overall if the rest of the lap was good. No, I think I jinxed him. Oh, I am so sorry for that, Aaron. I am so sorry. Oh, it was the Renault that distracted him. See? I'm not the only one that gets distracted by projections of other drivers. Give us a button to change the visibility of it, Eck. Please? Okay, let me... Okay, Verstappen finally sets a lap time, but it is miles off the rest of the field. A 1:25, almost 5 seconds slower than the front runner with Super Mega. Okay, we're very close to the end of this qualifying session, and it looks like barely anyone is able to push out any green sectors, or even finishing any proper laps in general. But of course, anything can happen in this league, and it usually does. Remember last time when we were expecting McLaren to run away with another just standout victory, and they just kind of didn't. But still. If Super Mega Monkey brings it into the front for all the McLaren team, that could be the constructors' title. Not necessarily sealed, but they will have definitely put one hand on it if they can keep that solid form in Hermanos Rodriguez today. Flicking through the rest of the leaderboard, Rayan's actually on a very solid lap. The first sector was a yellow, but the second sector was a green. If he can have a very solid final sector, which is looking like it's going to be the case, then he's probably going to improve his lap time. Does he jump ahead of the Toyota of Aaron? It's going to be close! Yes, he does! By just about missing the 121 mark, but still, that's enough to bring him up just 1 position, and the Toyota of Aaron immediately jumps out to try and change things after hearing that. But will he have enough time? He only has enough time for 1 more proper attempt with the least worn-out tires. Of course, we'll have to wait and see in the moment. Okay, Mushy Cookie on his way to set 1 final lap for the Ferrari team. He's got a yellow sector in the first part, but it's not by much. He gets a very tight cut over there. Of course, Super Mega Monkey's 2 leading laps were some incredible laps. So I can see it as being a very, very Herculean task to try and dethrone those, especially after all the attempts he's given. But looking at the second sector, that's looking to be another yellow as well. He'd need a third sector of the golds, and he cuts it way too wide to be worth anything. I think Mushy Cookie might have just thrown away his last chance for beating the top time. But flicking through the rest of the grid, everyone else is setting a time. Hellenai has essentially locked himself out of improving it. I swear, for a split second, I thought, wait, what? Oh my god! Where did that come from? Mushy Cookie takes pole position in his last proper lap. Nobody was expecting that considering his first 2 sectors were yellow, but apparently that was good enough to not just beat Super Mega's time, but absolutely annihilate it. I was actually zoned out in that moment, so I didn't even notice it when it happened, but now, Super Mega Monkey, the McLaren driver who was previously on pole, has 1 more chance to take it back. 1 last little instance where he could potentially improve his best time. But of course, he has very, very thin margins to do that by, and Oh, we got a red sector in the first part. I think that is over for Super Mega Monkey's pole chances. I think unless he does cut after cut after cut, he won't be able to change anything. Aaron is on another really solid lap, and this is his last chance to finish one like this. 2 green sectors so far. Can he hold it for the final sector? Yes, he can! Where is this going to be for the Toyota driver? Is this going to be the best qualifying position for the team yet? No! He doesn't improve his lap time. Actually, wait, no, he does improve his lap time, but it's not enough to get him any new positions. But still, 5th place for the Toyota team, I feel like it's something they can definitely be proud of. But now, in the front runners, the only person to have not finished a proper lap is Hell and I, as Super Mega Monkey doesn't have enough time to start a new lap. Mushy Cookie's on provisional pole, unless Hell and I can have an absolute belter of a lap near the end. He doesn't have a particularly solid second sector, although his first sector was something pretty special. So let's see if a third sector can nicely wrap things into a bow. It's seeming like it's going to be close. He almost taps a wall, but he brings it about as tight as he possibly can. Is it going to be enough to improve his time or even bring it further up the qualifying grid? No, it's not. It's just about not there. And after a long, gut-wrenching session, at the last opportunity he's got, Mushy Cookie pips pole position from Super Mega Monkey. What an incredible session that was. Although Saman still has one more time to set. Does he improve himself? Yes, he does, but by the thinnest possible margins. He misses out on the top 10. What a qualifying session that was. Wow. We are prepared for what is going to be an incredible race here at AR03. It's slightly drizzly, which is our favorite condition with the best wet weather cars. We have a fan favorite track in Hermanos Rodriguez. And now, with all of the drivers lining up, we wait with bated breath to see how this Constructors battle is going to pan out with the new driver on the block for the McLaren team. With all 5 lights out, we wait for them to go. It's lights out and away we go, and Mushy Cookie does get a particularly good start, as does Super Mega Monkey, but did anyone else pull the trigger earlier? Yes, they did. It's looking like Hell and I actually got a pretty good start as well. On top of the Salva of Rayon, he's almost gained an entire spot just from the nature of his start. But is there anyone who's looking to be particularly solid? Yeah, again, it's Hell and I. You actually had a really nice launch and brings himself slightly further up, but he didn't have the best sector afterwards. But now, who's leading after all of this? It's Rufus! Rufus is leading after qualifying in 5th. What an incredible launch from him. But will he be able to hold on to it, considering how important this is for the Minardi team? Not quite, because Mushy is starting to slip further and further away, but this is still going to help Minardi for the Constructors battle, as they are leading ahead of the McLaren of Super Mega Monkey, who's only slipping further and further into the crowd. Actually, I think Rufus might be trying to challenge the Ferrari if he can get far enough ahead. The Brit versus the Kiwi. Who's going to be the one on top? Of course, we will have to wait and see. Oh, and it's a messy sector for Rufus. He's going to lose quite a bit of time to that, as now he starts to fall further back as the McLaren of Super Mega Monkey starts to drift further into the distance. Although this is only lap 1 out of 23, so this race is far from over, and Rufus, after such a solid start, has already proven to be capable of leading a proper race. But now, it's the Ferrari versus the McLaren of Super Mega Monkey and Mushy Cookie. Very remnant of in what we saw in the actual F1 season last year. Ferrari versus McLaren. What do you know? I feel like Mushy Cookie might have gone a little bit wide there. Let me check to see if he's got any track limits from that. Yeah, he already has 1 track limit, but did he claim another? Not quite, although I feel like he must have cut it very close there. Rufus is already back, battling with the McLaren after that mistake. Is Rufus going to be a consistent fighter here after only qualifying 5th? This is boding really well for the Minardi team if they can bring it back, especially considering that there's only 1 McLaren on the track and 2 Minardis. But wait, hold on, who's this? Here goes Heleni, after getting a really good sector in the middle of it, who looks like he's cutting his way into third place. But of course, like I said, this is still early stages, so you're going to see a lot of early overtakes in the field. Super Mega Monkey makes a couple of slips. Rufus for Orbs, he's particularly good, but Mushy Cookie pulls himself further and further away for the Ferrari team. The Kiwi might be able to secure his inaugural win here at Hermanos Rodriguez. Of course, like I said, it is still very early on, so maybe Rufus' two-second gap could be brought up by everyone else bottling it in front of him. It's too early to tell. Heleni gets a decent sector, slowly gets closer. Oh, and it's gone wide for the McLaren of Super Mega Monkey! That has massive ramifications for the Constructors' title. After one small slip, the McLarens go from potentially leading the race to now battling with the Sauber in 5th. Where did it go wrong for the McLaren team? They were looking poised to annihilate the Constructors' title back at Hockenheim. But now, with that seeming to slip further and further away as that elevates Rufus into the top 3. Of course, with how slippery these cars are, these drivers have to be very, very careful whenever they manage their pace. And Rufus takes it too wide, and Rufus has already cut too many track limits as he slides down the order. Someone who was leading after the first split, now wailing down in 7th. And that proves why consistency and knowledge of the track limits are key. Because if you don't have that, then you'll be activating the track limits only 3 laps in, and you'll be plummeting down the order. But now, the main challenger for the lead is the typical underdog Heleni, as Mushy Cookie starts drifting away in his own first place bubble. Of course, like I said, it is a bit too early to tell who's probably gonna win, especially after that very early spin from the McLaren of Super Mega Monkey, who's actually already recovered into 3rd place, which is a remarkable feat. But yeah, I think Heleni might have actually taken a little bit out of Mushy Cookie in that sector right there. Actually, no, it was pretty even. Both of the drivers are generally quite even, so I think this battle will mainly come down to consistency. Of course, Mexico is a really fast track, but it's pretty easy to lose your focus on if you're not paying attention. Really, the winner here is going to come down to who is paying more general attention. System failure. I feel like a lot of people weren't noticing this, but System has actually been doing a pretty good job clawing his way back through the field. I'm gonna shut up now. Oh my god, if that's not commentator's curse, I don't know what is. I briefly mentioned him to be a little funny, and then he bottles it. Okay, I think Heleni actually had a slightly quicker lap than Mushy Cookie, so he's slowly taking time out of the front runners. Could this be Benetton's time for a race win? Of course, we'll have to wait and see, so don't quote me on that. Mushy actually takes it very wide into the first sector. I think he might have clipped a track limit there, I'm not too sure. No, he didn't, but did he set the exact same time there as his previous lap? That's incredible. Heleni has a little bit of a slip, but he's able to control all it quite nicely. Mushy Cookie still going through the thinnest possible gaps to avoid hitting track limits, making himself look like a knife through butter. But of course, like I said, the real thing that's going to decide where these drivers place is how they can manage their worn tires. Because as we saw with Super Mega Monkey, they potentially put themselves out of the winning picture with just that one spin from the mismanaged tires. Okay, Mushy Cookie is actually starting to pull away a little bit. With a 2-second gap, he's seeming to be in a particularly dominant position.
Sorry, one thing. There are no Minardis, only Tyrells, no Minardis today on the race.
Wait, that's Tyrrell? Wait, no, I swear Sister Fair...
Yeah, that's Tyrrell.
I swear that's Minardi. Hold on, let me check something. I'm not actually going to drive here, I'm just going to check the models. So, that's Tyrrell. Oh, so they were Tyrrell this entire time. This whole time they were Tyrrell. Why did nobody tell me? Hold on a second. Does that mean that the people who are managing these got it wrong? Or I was focusing on the wrong team this whole time? Wait, hold on. That means that there's not even a constructors battle. That means that there's not even a constructors battle right now. So wait, why the hell am I even here? Wait, so if Minardi were doing really good early on, and they're the yellow car, then... Wait. Live on AR03, the commentator has an existential crisis! Oh, boy. So, yeah. So you waited until now to tell me that they were Tyrrells and not Minardis? Really? Like guys, I know that's my bad, but come on. Come on. So like here's the thing. Then just DM me. You should have DM'd me last time, mate. You should have DM'd me last time. Come on. Oh, for... Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If Tyrrell are in, like, 5th or 6th in the Constructors, then, like, there's no Constructors battle, is there? Because the closest team is Benetton, and Benetton are, granted, they're in 2nd, but... Hold on. They would have to make the comeback of all comebacks. So I've been hyping up nothing, essentially. Thanks! So wait, hold on. Why would the Constructors team who are in 2nd just leave? That doesn't add up, does it? Yeah, okay. Got it. There's still something I can focus on with that. Okay. Hold on, I need to try and get myself back into focus after being given that total bombshell. Alright, let me just... Something worth mentioning is that the driver who cut in the first place, the Tyrrell driver, Rufus, has started to fall really far back into the field after track limit after track limit. And he's now battling for 6th place. Wait, 6th? Did someone crash? Okay, yeah, I think I'm just confused now. So... But yeah, Moshikoki has developed a 5-second long gap, so he needs to have a major mistake to falter in it now. But the current closest Constructors battle between Benetton and McLaren, it's currently looking like it's gonna go in favor of the Benetton team. If I was the Benetton boss, I would probably hire Moshikoki if anything. He seems to be the driver who's bringing in the most bank. But of course, I'm not a team manager. I can't control that stuff. Oh, and there's a bit of a wall collision from some ow. Bit my tongue. Bit my tongue. Oh wow, would you look at that? Blue flags, and the person actually obeys the blue flags. Unheard of. Maybe we're not all Mazepin after all. But now, Hell and I is starting to lose quite a bit of ground to Super Mega Monkey. Whether it's going to be enough to give Mega Monkey the position, I'm not entirely sure. Mega Monkey might have cut that a little bit too wide and may potentially hit a track limit. And for the third time running, I should probably shut my mouth because that's just the yellow sector and these lead drivers are the ones who know what they're doing. Okay, so far this race has been interesting because A, the action has been good, and B, the commentator has had an existential crisis. What a brilliant race here at Mexico. Oh boy. Right, oh, hold on. A couple of unsteady mistakes from Hell and I may potentially give McLaren second place and another step higher on the podium if they're not able to focus themselves a little bit more. But, of course, what's going to be telling in the... Nah, I've got no ideas. Okay, Super Mega Monkey taking more risks than the editor of Hell and I, and now may be the time to take more risks as all that Hell and I is doing by trying to play it safe is he's only delaying the inevitable as the McLaren gets closer and closer. There's only a 1 second gap between them now as it's shrunk more and more over time. Hell and I was looking particularly solid earlier on, but it's seeming like if the McLaren team can get a particularly solid result here, they may be able to seal the Constructors' title with only 2 races left to go. But of course... Wait, hold on! I think Mushy Cookie might have made some mistakes! Yeah, Mushy went wide! And the track's starting to dry up a little bit more as well! I noticed because the DRS-enabled flash happened, so now Mushy Cookie could potentially get cut by one of the other drivers. Whether it's the Benetton of Hell and I or the McLaren of Super Mega Monkey, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm actually not entirely sure in this moment. But of course... Actually, those weren't even caused by track limits. That was just a genuine mistake from Mushy Cookie. Something that I completely missed because I wasn't paying any attention to him. But now, the fight is truly back on once again as the gaps shrink more and more and more, although the distance of the gaps don't exactly change, with Hell and I being 8 seconds away, and Super Mega Monkey once again only being double the lead from Mush and Hell and I, but now that's even closer and closer by a second. Mushy locks up just a little bit, but he's able to control it quite nicely, and he's slowly able to pull away once again. But of course, he still has quite a lot of track limit warnings, and that spin that was caused before weren't caused due to the track limit warnings, but rather due to a genuine mistake from him. You can tell because there were no red sectors in the previous lap. Oh, Mushy Cookie takes it a little bit wide. This may be Hell and I's chance to gun for a position. This could be the Benetton driver's chance. Their one chance to actually get a proper win and potentially keep this Constructors fight alive. But so of course, hey, I lost track of what I was thinking. Hold on. Hell and I needs a particularly solid sector here because when it comes to general pace, it's now or never. I'm not entirely sure he got a particularly good sector there, but it's seeming like Hell and I brought himself just a tiny little pinch closer to Mushy Cookie. Yes, I'm actually correct in that assumption for once. As Mushy's starting to make more and more mistakes, cutting it a little bit wide there, I'm curious to see whether that was a track limit because that looked a little bit too wide to me. But yeah, Hell and I is starting to make ground on Mushy Cookie as Super Mega Monkey's falling further and further behind. I'm pretty sure he might have hit a track limit in a previous lap. So now, the proper fight is on. Ferrari versus Benetton. Who's going to be the driver to stand on top? Will Moshikoki get his inaugural win on only his second race at AR03? Or will Hellenai be the driver to bring it back? As now, look at this. The P10 had to blue flag it, and it briefly made the track a Benetton sandwich. How funny was that visual? But yeah, Moshikoki gets a particularly solid final sector, and that gives him an overall faster lap. Actually, not an overall faster lap, just a faster final sector, but still, Hellenai is very, very close to the Ferrari driver, and it'll only take one small mistake for the paradigms to shift in this race. Hellenai has a pretty good sector there, but it seems somewhat equal between both of the drivers. We're now past the halfway point for the race, so a lot has already been decided, but there's still a lot to play for. I think Hellenai took it a little bit wide there. I don't think it was a track limit, but it's going to hurt his general pace. Moshikoki hit too many hit track limits. Hellenai leads the Grand Prix. The Benetton team are now leading a race. If they don't blow this opportunity, this is going to be huge, both for the constructors title and for the driver as well. Sorry if I'm stammering a lot. That just came completely out of nowhere. As now, slow down. Okay, what? While I'm looking, Rayon in the Sauber completely spins over his car. That's going to leave him vulnerable to the other Ferrari of Heavenly Longnose, as this is looking like a great race for them in the Constructors' fight. But the Constructors' fight seems to be all but over for Ferrari, as it was many races before. As remember, they were previously a backmarket team who are now plunging out of the depths after being behind for so long. But now that Hellenai is leading, can he keep things consistent and get his inaugural win? He has been second fiddle for so long in these races. Podium after podium, second place after second place, maybe even a little bit before that. But will this be the one time that Hellenai is able to bring himself forward and claim a race win after being more consistent than Moshikoki across the board? Of course, now that Moshikoki doesn't have any track limits, it's going to be very close from both of those drivers. Will Hellenai make the decision to play it safe and potentially open the door for Moshikoki to get closer? Or will he try and go as far as possible while potentially opening the... And there's a crash for one of the Minardis! It's Rufus! Rufus, the driver who was previously looking to be in the running for a win, leading the first sector, now out of the race. It's a big disappointment for the Tyrrell team, especially considering they haven't been able to secure many good points lately outside of the previous couple races and a race win in Hockenheim. So that's going to bring a bit of a hole to their potential points haul. But still, Hellenai leading, Moshikoki just a little bit behind them. But will Hellenai be able to keep their cool and secure a race win? We'll just have to wait and see. There is still a decent chunk of the race left here at Hermanos Rodriguez. It's a little bit wide for Hellenai, but don't worry. They're just taking the league racing line. They know what they're doing. Moshikoki has a second and a half to make up on Hellenai, and it seemed fairly easy before, but Hellenai is now starting to get at sectors that either match or completely beat Moshikoki. So I'm not entirely sure who's going to be standing on the top come the end of this race. Yeah, Moshikoki actually took quite a lot out of that sector, and can Rufus please jump already? Mate, you've been told to jump multiple times over now. Will you just do it? Okay, Moshikoki gets a really nice final sector, and now, with the highest speed of the Ferrari, he cuts out a lot from the deficit between him and Hellenai, as an entire second gets washed away in just one sector. And now the fight is back on between the Benetton team and the Ferrari team, and maybe even the McLaren team if they can catch up. Who's going to have the better sector coming into the next part? Mushy Cookie takes it tighter. Mushy Cookie has more speed, and it's looking like Mushy Cookie is going to retake the lead come the next sector. Yes, he is! Mushy Cookie, the Kiwi in the Ferrari, is now leading the race once again after that major slip-up early on. He slipped because of a mistake, he slipped because of the track limits, and now he's leading once again. But the real question is if he plays it safe now and potentially opens the door for Hell and I once again, or if he tries to go as fast as possible every single lap, throwing away all potential safeguarding to try and drift away with the win. I think Hell and I might have just cut a track limit there. No, he hasn't. He got very lucky to avoid that. But now Mushy Cookie has a gap of 1 second. Mushy Cookie cuts it way too wide. I think definitely getting a track limit there. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't. And now, Mushy Cookie back in the lead. Hell and I taps the wall. That could open the door over Super Mega Monkey to bring himself closer. And it may have just sealed Hell and I out of a win. Of course, that is if it costs him too much. As I'm pretty sure all of you are aware, tapping the wall on the last corner of Hermanos Rodriguez is the kiss of death, considering how it essentially sets your acceleration a little bit back, and it means that you're going slower for the entire straight. Wait, Mushy Cookie takes it really wide. Was that another major mistake from him? Yes, it was! I don't even think that was a track limit. I think that was another major mistake from Mushy Cookie. And now, after one moment of him being a little bit too cocky, Hell and I is back in the lead. Really, the drivers keep changing positions, and now Super Mega Monkey is back in with a chance of ending second place and securing some important points for the McLaren team. Is Hell and I going to be able to keep it consistent? Both Super Mega Monkey and Mushy Cookie also cut another track limit in the first sector. I think that might have been what caused the slowdown again. Mushy Cookie being very aggressive with pretty much all of the sectors he goes for. Will consistency win out over burst pace? I'm not entirely sure, but I don't know who to put my money on. Of course, there's no money involved in this. It was a figure of speech, but, you know. So, yeah. For once in one of these races, the Benetton team seem like they're going to be the ones to take a win with only 5 laps to go. Hell and I just has to keep things consistent, and he's got this win in the bag. But now, Super Mega Monkey with more speed is looking like he's going to get a potential overtake on the Ferrari. Does he get his chance? No, he doesn't. He doesn't get a better exit than Mushy Cookie, and he pulls away just that little bit more. But of course, the leader, Hell and I, still keeping things clean, still keeping things consistent, but he did lose quite a bit of time to both of them, as now he's slipping back closer and closer and closer. I think Hell and I just wants to try and nurse this home and not take any major risks, which of course is hurting his pace a little bit, but I think it really shows the dichotomy between these two drivers. Either nurse it home or push all the way. Yeah, it's only one or the other for both of these drivers. Mega Monkey is starting to slip behind a little bit, and he's looking for any potential mistakes from Mushy Cookie to capitalize on. Mushy Cookie cuts yet another track limit. He is really playing a dangerous game here, considering how many he's cut in the past couple moments. If he ends up winning this, this will be miraculous for the Ferrari driver. But now, it's 1 second away, also for Mega Monkey as well. I really have no clue who's going to win here. Could it be the Benetton? Could it be the Ferrari? Could it be the McLaren? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Hell and I, with a really nice swerve for the next sector, keeping it as clean as possible. I'm not entirely sure if it bodes well for his pace, but if it keeps him away from track limits, I'm pretty sure that's all that's important to Mushy Cookie right now. As he currently has a 0.7 gap on the rest of the field, Mushy takes it a little bit wide, but I don't think he clipped a track limit there. Either that, or he has something to burn. I don't think he's received one track limit penalty throughout this entire race, which have been very impressive from the Benetton. But is he going to be able to keep that record until the end? Or will he make a few crucial mistakes that'll creep in the last couple laps? Yeah, he dodged a track limit. Very impressive from him there. Hellenai takes it a little bit wide, but he does just about miss a track limit there. Will Hellenai be able to keep it consistent? I don't know if he tapped a wall there. He might have, but the lag made it pretty difficult to tell. As now, there are only 3 laps left, and such a thin margin between the front runners. Only 0.6 seconds of a margin for the Ferrari team, and 1.2 seconds for the McLaren team. It'll only take one mistake from any of these star drivers to shift the paradigm, and of course, we have a Sauber here ignoring the blue flags that could potentially cut the visibility off of these drivers. This could be really bad for Rayon, who was previously looking to be in a really good spot against his main rival, the Toyota, who is now completely ignoring blue flags. He's definitely going to get penalized for that. And as I talk about the Toyota, commentators curse, everyone! Moshikogi takes it a little bit wide again, and he now only has one more track limit to burn. He's getting very close to Hellenai, but he's also just one mistake away from completely losing out on this win. So is he going to try and be aggressive? Yes, he is. Just barely missing another track limit. This is to the limit for the Benetton and the Ferrari. Again, I have no clue who's going to win this. It'll only take one mistake from Ashikogi to completely cut it out of the picture. But Super Mega Monkey also isn't too far away, so this isn't a guaranteed win for the Benetton driver either. I think Moshikogi got a better exit though, and now going to the penultimate lap, both the Benetton and the Ferrari are neck and neck. But the Ferrari has more track limits than the other, so it'll take Moshikogi only one mistake by the end of this to completely bleed out of the win. This is Grand Prix action at its absolute finest. Hellenai takes a really nice sector there. Does Moshikogi follow suit? Yes, he does, but he tries to play it slightly safe, which is weirdly out of character for him. But again, it's side by side for both of these legends. Moshikogi is just barely ahead going into that next sector. Hellenai cuts it a little bit too wide, and now I think Moshikogi might have gotten the position. Yes, he has. It's the Ferrari leading the race now, but he now has to keep it consistent with no more penalties to burn. Is Moshikogi going to be able to keep the lead after such a tight battle with the Benetton? Or will the Benettons finally break the curse of never winning a race and beat the Ferrari to the line? Of course, we'll have to wait until the very last lap to decide it. Moshikogi takes it very wide there, just barely avoiding a track limit, but it brings him closer and closer to the Benetton of Hellenai. Moshikogi clips the wall a little bit, making a little bit of a mistake there, and now there's only one more lap to decide the winner of the race. The Ferrari of Moshikogi is leading, but he's only one mistake away from losing it, and Hellenai, who was presumably on that same count of penalties before, hasn't had a single time slowing penalty or a pit limiter at any point in this race. These are going to be critical corners for the final lap. Hellenai has a particularly solid final sector, and he's gaining a little bit of time on Moshikogi, but I don't think it's going to be enough if Moshikogi keeps it clean. Who's going to play it clean? Who's going to play it cleaner? Who's going to be the winner at Hermanos Rodriguez? Moshikogi doesn't have the best next sector. Hellenai is now battling him wheel to wheel for that last position. It's looking like Moshikogi is keeping himself relatively consistent, but of course, this is a very difficult track to avoid track limits on if you're not focused. So Moshikogi has to put everything into his focus. I think he might have gone wide there. No, he doesn't. He just barely keeps it under control. I think Moshikogi might have gotten the win here unless he has a bad final corner here. Oh, he brought himself slightly into the air, but he still holds it. This has been an incredible comeback drive for the Ferrari, as taking his inaugural win after an impressive second place beforehand in a drag race to the finish. Moshikogi wins the Mexican Grand Prix. It's been an incredible battle between him and the Benetton of Hellenai, but in the end, his raw pace brings him to a race win. Super Mega Monkey comes in third, getting McLaren some crucial points for the Constructors battle. But oh my god, that is a battle that I feel like will be talked about for eons to come. Hellenai was this close to breaking the curse of the winless Benetton, but I feel like after a battle like that, none of them can complain. Oh my, that is what you call a battle! Woo! And now his Spinala, after not doing a single lap, screaming that he's properly world champion now. Because apparently we just barely got the calculations wrong in the last lap, but really, who was gonna care to check? It's actually a 1-4 for the Ferrari team who get the most points in this race. System failure actually comes an impressive 5th place for the Tyrrell team, and in a last second battle as well, the Williams team just barely beat out the Toyota of Aaron for 6th place. That must have been an incredible battle from them, but I mean, come on, that right there. And now both of the Ferraris are going to each other to congratulate one another. That right there is what you call a battle. After all of that, we actually have Mushy Cookie up here for an interview. Let me just slide the microphone over to him. Hello there, Mushy Cookie.
Hello.
So, it's your first win for AR03, and honestly, considering how neck and neck it was with Hell and I, how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, pretty good, I guess. I mean, I win a lot, so it's not really anything surprising to me. But yeah, that was a good fight. Enjoyed it. That's how I want to win races. Not how many of it.
Do you think when it came to how the race was going, there was a bit of a difference in the dichotomy between the drivers, considering how you generally had better pace than Hal and I, but you were cutting quite a lot of track limits and just barely had enough to take a race win. Do you think that driving style helped you out?
Well, I mean, I've done this road racing thing for like 4 years now. I've always known to be super hella aggressive and always like push rules and all that. So, especially since it was raining, I'm known to be good in the rain, so that definitely helped me out. I think if it was dry, I don't think I would have won the race. But since it was raining and my aggressive style sort of worked with these cars, that definitely helped me out.
Did you think there was any point at the race where you made a mistake and thought, this is too far gone to potentially get a win, considering Hal and I was actually looking really solid for this race?
Well, I did spin. I clipped it. It wasn't my mistake really. It was just a bump on the curb, and that screwed me up, and then I spun. But not even after the spin, I don't think I was like, damn, there's the wind gone. I never give up in these races. Like in any race really, I always, no matter what happens, I'm like, okay, well, let's see what we can do, and hope that I can pull it off.
Okay, one more question before we move on to our next driver, if they're up for an interview, of course, which I will ask them beforehand. Hold on. Is this the closest margin you've won a race by? Because this seems like a pretty tight margin to get a win for.
Project Apex, yes. Road racing as a whole, no. I think my closest, I do have a screenshot somewhere. I'll send it in general soon, but that's the closest I've done in PA, but not in road racing. I'll send you the screenshot. But yes, that's my closest in PA. So.
Well then, that's definitely something to add to your personal record book. And again, congratulations on your inaugural win for AR03, Musha. You take all the time you need to celebrate it, especially for the Ferrari team, who have been backmarkers for the rest of the season. I mean, really think about it.
I mean, I think
the state the team were in before these two races where you joined.
I think they're going to celebrate it a bit more than me, because that was win number 88 in my career, so I think they'll be a bit more happy than I am.
I'm very much getting Piastri vibes from this, and I love it. So yeah, well done, and well done, and we'll move on to the next driver. Is Hell and I up to be interviewed, or would he rather not? I will always ask beforehand. So, hello there, Hell and I, the second place driver for this race. You are showing some incredible pace out on track today. Did you think that at any point that a win was potentially on the cards?
Nah, I don't think I would even beat Mushi, so I was satisfied with my position.
It was a really nail-biting fight between you and Mushi, especially. Especially considering that the leader kept shifting from lap after lap after lap. And considering the shift in driving styles, do you think your more cautious driving style helped you out today?
Yeah, cause like I was braking early and like I was trying not to waste my tires and I was trying to get less corner cuts and those stuff. So I mean I saw Mushi get like so many corner cut penalties and I'm like, yeah.
Okay, there's only 2 races left in the season, to my knowledge, and considering how close you've come on so many occasions, do you still think a race win in this season is on the table?
Nah, I don't think so, cause Mushi is like, he's like the GOAT. So I'm like, if I get P2, that's enough. Every race P2 is just like a win for me. So, yeah.
Very humble words from you. But yeah, of course,
okay.
there are still 2 races to go, and considering how much hasn't been answered, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Credible first showing for Honcho, who came in aiming third place for the McLaren team, and considering the constructors battle they're in right now with the Minardi team, who haven't been seen in a very long time. Do you think your efforts right now are doing enough to secure or McLaren the constructors title?
If it keeps going up like this with my Minardi not showing and me performing good, then yeah, we'll get the constructors easy enough.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Do you think at any point during this race a win was potentially on the table? Because you had brief moments where you seemed to be going faster than Mushi, but for a majority of the race you were sort of somewhat hanging back, waiting on one of them to make a mistake, a bit like Hell and I was.
Yeah, I'm playing because he's been known to make. But I too kept making many mistakes, and if I hadn't bonked the wall near turn 3 so many times, I definitely would have won. But it is what it is.
Okay, and lastly, I'll ask you the same question I asked Hell and I before. Considering the really solid pace you've had right now, and considering Spinala hasn't really been anywhere outside of doing donuts right behind you over there, with only 2 races to go, do you think a race win is still potentially on the table?
If I pray to the racing gods hard enough, I might get a blessing. But to be honest, though, I have not played in weeks, so I do have to train quite a bit. But if I do, I maybe be able to win.
You know,
Mushi makes a mistake.
You know who you remind me of quite a bit with the way you say that? You remind me quite a lot of Geometry. I'm not sure if you've seen a lot of his races, but he was the first ever Apex World Champion, and he had a very tight Drivers' Championship battle down to the last race between him and Beastover, which he eventually won after a miscalculated pit stop from Beastover. But he said that he barely did any practice for any of it, and he would look forward to potentially doing some in the future. So you remind me a lot of him with the way you say that, which, believe me, is a good sign. Geometry's sick. Not sure if he's here anymore, though. Might have left to do something else. But yeah, thank you for your time. And I believe, unless the Ferrari would like to talk to me, there's one more driver who definitely want an interview, considering all the donuts he's been doing. So, are you down for one, or can we skip straight to Spinala?
Hi.
Who is this again?
The other Ferrari driver?
Alright, sick. So, considering that you came in off today, that meant the Ferrari got the most points out of any constructor in this race. So, how are you feeling after that?
Really happy, actually. I went into this race thinking I could bag a few points for our team, and then I got my highest finish for the season, not including testing. So yeah, pretty happy about that.
It's been a very impressive past couple races for the Ferrari team, considering they have slowly been making a climb from not scoring any points to barely scoring any points to scoring some decent points, then scoring a podium, and then scoring a race win, and at the same time getting the most points out of any constructor out of any of them. So, what do you think essentially triggered this massive spike in the points for the Ferrari team?
Well, I'd say it's very much because of Mushy. He's basically contributed all of our points. If he wasn't here, then I don't think our pace would our points haul would be as good, and we'd probably still be really low on the constructors.
It's definitely been very reassuring in the past couple weeks for the Ferrari team, but considering there are only 2 races to go now, where do you think the best place is that the Ferrari team can finish in the constructor standings?
I'm actually not too sure. I haven't really seen the constructor standings in a while. If we try our best, we could maybe go for third, but I think fourth is, yeah, we'll be stuck in fourth.
Alright then, best of luck to you and the rest of the Ferrari team for the last couple races, because I feel like there's one person who's been very eager to get an interview, and that is the properly crowned world champion, who was kind of crowned in the last race, Spinala. Let's bring him up to the stage. So, hello Spinala, are you there?
Hello.
So then, you had a really dominant run, winning every race by a landslide in the first half of the series, and now, without even doing anything in this race, you've properly been crowned champion in this race after a particularly solid result from Mushy Cookie. So, how are you feeling?
Pretty chill, pretty good. Basically, like, last race we all thought we were world champion, but it's just like Ardo fucking sucks in math. So I ended up turning out like I was like a few points short of being world champion. System needed to outscore me by like 7 points this race so that he could stay in the fight. But like that's never gonna fucking happen. So I was not at all worried
Ooh,
for the world title, but
Spinala, I'm
to be
gonna
honest,
server mute you. Oh boy, that's already a pretty spicy
but to
start.
be honest, the worry was the world constructors champion. But we have Honcho, and none of the minority drivers showed up, so we still outscored them at the end of the day, and we extend our lead. So technically, we basically have a pretty solid lead now, so I don't think there's any worry for either world championships. And yeah, it's pretty funny to be crowned world champion without even showing up to the race.
And was that what you were going for by not going for the race, just to go, "Hey guys, I'm world champion," without doing anything in the actual race? Because if so, then that's hilarious.
No, I just didn't. My alarm didn't fucking wake me up, so I didn't race. I love Mexico. It's my best track. So if I was here, then who knows what the result might have been.
Yeah, we may have seen 3 drivers battling for the win. That would have been too much for my heart to take. So yeah, on top of that, considering the new challenges that are being presented by Mushy Cookie and were being presented by a Dungeon before he vanished, I wonder why. Do you think you will be able to mount the same kind of title battle in the second season if you do show up for the second season?
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I'm retiring after this already.
Ah, that's definitely an interesting choice, but wow, very bold to announce your retirement in the middle of a press conference. That's you've got heavier balls than Rico Nosberg.
They aren't gonna miss me, bro. They aren't gonna miss me. Only my team will. Everyone else probably won't.
Right then. So, considering the recent pace that's been shown by Super Mega Monkey, are there any words of advice you want to pass down to him? Considering he's looking to take the reins as McLaren's main driver.
He'll be fine without me. I don't know if you know this, but there was a league before AR03 called PR03, where we all raced 2003 cars the same way we do here. Hodcho, I think, was the world champion for the first season there, and I was fighting him a lot for the second season as well. And he's really fast, so I don't think he has anything to worry about. And I think Mushy as well. We fight Mushy a lot in PR03, but then like at the end of the season, none of us really showed up for races, and then System Failure somehow won the world champion. So yeah,
Wait,
it's not exactly a serious league, but yeah.
Wait, System Failure has a driver's title? I thought him being bad at everything was a meme. but still.
No, he fucking sucks at everything, but we neither, like, none of the actual top drivers showed up for the last like 5 races. So he took a title really easily.
I mean, to be fair, good for him. He must have been elated when that actually happened. But yeah, before you do leave, is there one last question? Do you feel like you've still got something to prove in the last couple races, considering the less than conventional tracks we've got? Considering that the next track is Zandvoort, and then the track after that is Vegas.
I've done well in Zandvoort before, but I don't even know if I show up for that. I don't like Zandvoort very much. And then Las Vegas, I'll probably show up just so I can fucking party around.
Yeah,
once the season ends.
I'm pretty sure Vegas in like this league is the first time Vegas has appeared as a track in a league, considering it was shifted from Istanbul to Vegas the second it was released. So I'm pretty sure everyone, in some ways, regardless of how they feel about Vegas as a track, are looking forward to that. It's funny. It's kind of like how it is in real life. So yeah, thank you for your time.
Well, I look forward to it because, if I have one last thing, but like, in every league race every league race that had Vegas in it, there has been like more than half the field has DNF. So look forward to that.
Ah, yes, because Vegas is essentially a second Baku, which means everyone hates it, but everyone votes for it in the public lobbies for some reason.
Exactly.
So yeah, thank you so much for your time, Spinola, and enjoy the inevitable mountains of champagne you're about to be given.
Oh, obviously. Thank you.
So then, it's been an incredible race full of sprinkles of drama and toppings of surprise winners, including a battle that nobody was expecting between Mushy Cookie and Hell and I that came down to the wire. And now, with both titles essentially sealed, with the driver's title properly sealed and the constructor's title virtually sealed, are we going to be able to see any more surprises when Zandvoort comes around? Well, considering that it's a track that's not even in the race mode rotation, I feel like a lot of unfamiliar drivers are gonna have to practice their metaphorical asses off when that act comes around. And apologies for cursing there, but I mean, we're allowed to do it considering he just did it, and I couldn't think of any other words. So until then, this has been Rainbow Reverb, and I'll see you for the penultimate race.